Alright, what's going on, guys? This is Sal, and I am here with you today with some RWBY Grim Eclipse inbounds. I've been getting a lot of questions on how to run inbounds, what is inbounds, stuff like that. So, first thing I'm going to go over is what is inbounds. Essentially, inbounds is similar to no skips, but with a few modifications to it. So, inbounds, you're able to skip any fights that allow you to get over the trigger without it leading to being out of bounds. There's a really good example of this in chapter which one is it? It's chapter 6, I think it is. No, 5. It's chapter 5 that has a really good example of this. We'll show that later, but for now, we'll just start off with chapter 1, then work our way down to all the way down to chapter 10. So for just for skips, I'm just going to show the main skips that you can do in the main version of the game, and then in the end of the level, or towards the end of the level, I'll show you what you can do in an older patch, because it's a lot more clear cut that way, so you understand, because honestly you're not going to get a lot of information on why you should do it this way or why you should do it that way when all the chapters are unlocked. But I feel like this is the best way to do it. So we'll start off with chapter 1, boots on the ground, and I'm going to play as Yang because that's the one I'm most comfortable with, and all my other characters are level 1. Reason for that is because I've been playing older patches, so it resets their levels, but that's besides the point. Let's get into it right away with Yang. I'm just going to change her costume, because why not? So I'm just going to refund my skill points, because why not? So you see a lot of skips in any percent use Aftershock. Aftershock is really good for, or no, it's not really good for, really useful later on when you reach Merlot on his island. But first thing that is going to be different is that in any percent, you can do a Aftershock right here, and then do another one around over this location, and then you are out of bounds. That is not allowed in inbounds. I know that there be some people who would try to do that, but no, you are not able to do that. That is considered out of bounds, so that is not allowed. However, what is allowed is coming all the way over here, and then jumping onto this formation over here, and then just, oh, that's a bad one. Just getting around this pillar right here. It's a little tricky, but it's not too bad. There, just like that. It's a little awkward, but once you find out how to do it, it's really easy. So that's the first one that you can do with chapter 1. Really easy, really simple. Next one, I think a lot of people might already know this one. I'm not 100% sure. I know that it was really easy with Nora. With Yang, it's a little bit more difficult. I haven't played much of the new patch, honestly. I've been primarily playing the old patch. I know that Nora, she used to be able to gain a little bit of height on her neutral aerial, but I don't think that's the case anymore. But anyways, what you want to do is you want to get on this rock, like so. Sometimes if you dash, you might overshoot it, but anyways. So when you're on this rock, you want to move onto that platform over there. There'll be a little invisible platform that you can stand on, just right over here. You know, on this rock, and be a little bit to the left of that arc, and then you want to get over here onto this platform, and then you know, you gotta try and figure out a way up. Sometimes this takes a little bit. It's still a little bit faster than fighting the enemies, at least the first time. So right here, you can get over it. Now you might be thinking, well, aren't you currently out of bounds? Technically, yes and no. So This is allowed for one simple reason, is because you're not able to get into any other out of bounds location from this area. And if you try to, you just run into an invisible wall and you just get pushed out. And I'll show that in chapter 5 later, like I said before. But you can just drop down and then just go ahead and go on to the next one. As far as I know, there's not a way to get through that barrier over there. You might be able to find a way to clip through it using Aftershock. However, I've yet to find one. If anyone finds a way to clip through that, let me know. I will do my best to figure out how to do it and update the inbounds. So just go ahead and go through the enemies as you would, and then just continue on to the next area. And then for this last area, I'm actually going to leave this mission, and I will be in a older patch to show you how it's done. So I'll be back with an older patch, and I will see you in chapter 2 for the current patch. Okay, bye. Alright, hello. I am old version of RWBY inbound tutorial, at least an older patch, that is. So, before we begin, you'll see that I only have chapter 1 selected, or at least completed. So, let's go ahead and go to what current patch me was talking about, and I will see you at the end.
Let's start this mission with a yang.
Yes, the Emerald Forest is filled with the ruins of ancient kingdoms. Keep an eye out for artifacts. Dr. Ooblich is always looking to expand Beacon's collection.
Whoever's coming up. Taking out the trash.
The security control center for this region is inside that cave. Go have a look, and maybe we can discover what the problem is.
Alright, so we are at the last part of the level. As you see, this is what my current setup is right now. I do not have Survivor on for a very specific reason, and you're going to see that very, very soon. Because what we're going to do is what a lot of games call a death abuse. So, yeah, this version of the game is very fast, and it's a lot easier to show you this sort of stuff as well, because I can easily add and delete levels that I want or do not want. So you just want to press counter continuously, so then you can down yourself right away. And when you do a death abuse, it resets checkpoints, and depending on your location, will reset all your other previous locations as well. There are some locations, such as chapter, I think it's 7, where you're on Merlot's Island, where you're not able to death abuse there. I think I'll go over that when it's current patch me, but it's still ways away. Don't worry about it for now. All you need to know is that for certain levels, I think chapter 5 does it as well, where you can do a death abuse and go to a further section of the game. But let's keep on trucking. Just go back right into it.
Some sort of foreign object. I feel like I've seen that symbol before. Never mind that. Defend the control center while I undo the damage. Make sure your weapons are loaded and your mustache wax is stoned. This could get hairy.
So you just want to fight your way through the waves just as normal, and I will meet you on the last wave. Alright, so once you beat the last enemy, you want to head back towards the first area, just right over here, and then you'll get spawned into a later section of the map in in chapter 2. So you'll see now that I am past the bridge part. And you see it's still closed. I have not activated the cutscene for the Borba tusks, and I actually spawned on the good side because at least for older patch, you can ignore this for the current patch, but for previous patch, this is the better way because you're able to get over the barrier. However, you're not able to in the current patch, so I'm not even going to show you it because it's not possible. Actually, no, it is possible. It's just a lot more difficult. So I'll just show you it right now. So in the current patch, you have to get over the very left side. I'll insert a clip of me doing that when I first attempted the tutorial, but essentially what you want to do is you want to attack towards the barrier, and then you'll just jump right over, and everything is easy peasy. And yeah, movement is a lot better in the older patches. The creators thought that it was really bad physics, but the current physics are even worse. It's way too heavy, honestly. Like this kind of style reminds me of Kingdom Hearts, which I like. But that's enough of me ranting. As usual, just do your fighting, and then I will see you on the last wave once again. Alright, so ending the last wave. So, you know, just do what you do, and then as soon as you beat the last enemy, you are able to leave, and then the next level shows up. And that's really about it for that. And now I'm going to kick it over back to my current patch self. Alright, so that one was kind of a two-parter because you can just get into chapter 2 really quickly and able to finish off those waves, like I said. And then also able to leave pretty early. But now we're going to go on to chapter 3, which is going to be the collapse. There isn't really much going on over here except for just fighting through the waves. And, well, there is one skip. 2 if I get lucky. If I don't get the other one, I will show you. But let's get moving on here. In one of the outer patches, you could get out of bounds on that rock that's overhanging, but this is inbounds. We don't care about that out of bounds garbage. And then there also used to be a way to get over that barrier. I don't know of a way to do it in the current patch, so like I said, if anyone knows a way, let me know. I'd be really appreciative of that. So just fight through the waves as usual, and then you know, just go fast. Alright, so now we just continue forward. My combat isn't the best, but you know what? It's just a tutorial. So don't worry about it.
Well, what are we waiting for? Get it?
Alright, so RWBY wants us to open up the lock. We don't want to do that, honestly. It's slow, it's boring. So we just get up onto this pipe, and then we just go right over. And it looks like the way that we want is blocked off. So what we are going to do is we're going to do a quick edit and get the other side unblocked, because as far as I know, there is not a way to clip through here. Never know. But I will see you on the other end of on the other end of the thing. All right. Bye. All right, so I took a few deaths. Finally got this side to spawn. So this side is really nice for the simple reason because you don't need to fight anything. You can if you want to. However, that is slow. And the easiest way to get through this section is just to go right through there. Did you miss it? I bet you did, because it's really fast. So all you really have to do is I'll show one more time for demonstration purposes if I am able to get through. Didn't get my dash. That's depressing. Oh, well, I can't get through. So, essentially all you have to do is just attack and dash on the fence, and you get through. It's really simple, really easy. That's probably one of the easiest skips that you can do in this game, even if you're a new player. Alright, so I'm going to put that back on. I forgot that I did not have that. And then for this section, once again, I will be in the older patch. I probably should have mentioned that earlier, but we'll be in the older patch for that. And I will see you guys in the next one. All right, so we are on the last part of the area. You see that I still have a new skill. I still have yet to put on Survivor because I am a rebellious one. So essentially, all that you have to do, just like the last level, is defeat all the enemies that are spawning. And as soon as the last enemy is defeated, you are able to leave. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. So, you know. Alright, so as soon as the last enemy leaves, or as soon as the last enemy is defeated, you are able to leave. If you do not leave right away, there's going to be a cutscene that plays. And during that cutscene, you are not able to leave the level. That is also prominent in the end of Chapter 4. But first, I'll have Current Patch Me go through the beginning of the level, and I will meet you at the end of the level. Alright, so here we are, Chapter 4. As far as I know, there isn't really much to this one. The out of bounds for this way still works. Sorry about that. The out of bounds for that still works, but you know, can't do it. This is inbounds. Any run that does that is invalid. So next we just shimmy our way down to the rails. For some reason that creep is part of the wave, so just take that out, call it a day. Then the waves start spawning. Some of them spawn really far away. Don't know why, but if you've been running this game already, then you would already know that that's a thing. So just take out the waves as they come. Alright, so now that those waves are done, we just go ahead and move on forward. Hey, look, we got fast waves. Alright, that's nice. Well, this will go by a lot quicker now. That's good. Going quick is good. So when you come down here, you know, just face the waves as you usually do. And then for this section, I'll let older Patch me do the talking because I think you already get the idea at this point. So I will see you guys in chapter 5, and I will do some more explaining. So yeah. Alright, so we are on the last part, the bomb, and you may already know the strat of this area, but I'm still gonna go through it anyways. So if you're a new runner, then what you are able to do is that you are able to get a dust crystal, and you can get 2 dust crystals in this section. Remember that your movement is not going to be as fast as mine because this is a older patch, but we got a quick dust crystal spawn, so that's nice. So the dust crystal is going to spawn in one of the locations each time. So it spawned down below, so it's either going to be the far one or it's going to be the one by the entrance. It's kind of random, but the third spot is always guaranteed the one that has yet to be done. So right here we have the dust crystal towards the next section, so that only means that the dust crystal is going to be in this location next.
You're halfway there. Keep going.
Alright, so in this section, you'll only need 2 dust crystals, so 1 to get through this section, and then 1 to get the dust crystal to spawn in the next section. So right here is the dust crystal spawn. Grab that. It's pretty random where it's going to be. So it's going to be in either of those 2 locations or the other location that was right over there. But it's random on where it spawns. So it's over here. And there's a certain location that we want to put the dust crystal in, because if we do it too early, then another dust crystal is going to spawn over there and it's going to mess things up. So what I like to do, well, close enough. Got to the second box, that's fine. That still works. So next spawn is going to be right over here. And then what we want to do for this one is just put it in right away and then get our menu ready to leave, because as soon as the menu starts, or as soon as the cutscene starts, we will not be able to access the menu. Cutscene started, we are able to leave the level. There is a video that I posted concerning when you are able to leave levels, titled "Why No Skip Sucks." I'm pretty sure that's the title. I don't know. It's been a while since I made that. But there are 2 different times you can leave that level. Is when the cutscene starts and the cutscene ends. When the cutscene is going, you're able to leave and then get onto the next level. When the cutscene is over, but Oobleck is still talking, then you are still able to leave because the level is considered over. So you are able to go to the next level. So there you go. So next one we're gonna get into is chapter 5, and I will kick it over back to my current patch self. Alright, here we are, chapter 5. So right away there's a really nice skip that you can do. Instead of searching for the key wherever that might be, you can just get onto this tree. This one is a little finicky. You want to make sure that you're on the top of the tree as far as you can be, and then you just jump, attack, and dash. You want to make sure you know where the gate is. So oh, I almost had it. The barrier stretches a little farther than what the older patch, so I like to do, in the older patch I would like to do a heavy, but I don't think it's actually I think it's still a little bit better than just normal attacking, because I think you drop faster if you're doing normal attack. Not good enough. Alright, that was a little sloppy, but I'll show a proper way to do it. Alright, so a more proper way to do it. You can use an ultimate if you want, but you shouldn't have to, honestly. Oh, I thought I got it for a second. That's depressing. Oh well. Alright, back to this. I was a little too far to the center. You want to aim a little bit towards the right, because then it'll push you towards the left and it'll drop you down. Or that will happen. That's actually probably the second or third time that's happened to me. But anyways, you usually don't have to use an ultimate if you angle it correctly. So let's go on to the next part. In a older version of RWBY with Blake, you'd be able to go over the barrier over here from that middle pillar in the distance. But not anymore. You can't gain height with Blake like you used to. So you know the deal. Go through the waves, and then just progress as you would as a normal no skips run. I'm too used to old patch where I had to mash really quickly to get speed. So yeah. So before, once again, this was a older patch, but before you used to be able to get onto that pillar, onto the tree, onto that taller pillar, and get over the barrier with Blake. However, they really nerfed Blake's movement in the newer patches, so a little bit depressing, but it's an OL. You gotta just accept it and move on. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Hello? Alright, should be just, yeah. Whoops. I messed that up. Oh well. Alright, so this is the one where I was talking about how you are able to skip this next barrier. However, you do get out of bounds. It's a little bit more difficult this way, but I'll still try my best to do it. I'm just going to take this out. Or it can come to me. Either way, I get more ultimate. Alright, so this one might take me a few attempts, so I'm probably just going to cut it to when I do get the attempt, and I'll be back after that. Alright. Oh, I was close that time. Nope. Nope. Alright, so I just got out of bounds. And yes, this is out of bounds because we can explore as much as we want to. So this way is not valid. I know that there will be people who are going to argue this. This is considered out of bounds, so it is not valid for inbounds. Yes, sure, you can just scoot over. If you do it correctly, you can scoot on over the barrier. However, once you get over there, you are considered out of bounds, so it is invalid for inbounds. So I just fight the waves, and then we'll get on with it. Hello? Okay, there we go. Easy. Alright, so this is going to be the last one this is going to be the last section for this level. I will once again let future or pre-patch me do the talking, so I'll go ahead and let him do that, and we will be back in chapter 6. Alright, so this is the last section of chapter 5. As you see, still don't have Survivor on because I'm pretty good at this older version of the game, so I don't really worry about it too much. But essentially, we are going to do a death abuse here. Not right away, because that would be bad. Because if we do a death abuse here, we would spawn in this spot right here, and that would be too soon for us to trigger the checkpoint skip. So let's just get right into it. It shouldn't be too difficult. Just gotta, you know, fight our way through the waves as per usual. Alright, so we're getting to the part where it starts to get really important. So, after this wave, there is going to be a new enemy that spawns. It's going to be the mutated Beowulf. There's a very easy way to deal with him. If you don't have any ultimate, shotgun, charged heavy, shotgun again, charged heavy, and then he'll attack. And then you kind of just repeat that process. But you want to do a death abuse to him, because when you die, you actually spawn over there a little bit towards the artifact. So we're going to defeat him, and we're going to do a quick death abuse to the mutated Beowulf. So just counter, so then you can down yourself. And then once you spawn, go ahead and defeat him. And then once you defeat him, go back up towards that section. Then he'll attack. And then if you have ultimate, you can go ahead and use that. So now that he's defeated, you actually don't have to, okay, well, easy. Alright, so, I like to go down this way because I know it works, it's easy. I like to pick up the artifact as well, and it will now fade to black, and that level is now over. So next we are going to spawn into the last section of chapter 6, which is just right over here. I guess while I'm doing this, I can show the backup strat if you do not get it. So the backup strat for chapter 6 is you just play the level like normal, like you're doing no skips. So, you know, just do your thing. And then this is the same thing as the current patch, which is you just get up this way. You just move up this way. I can't remember if the barrier is a little bit thicker, so you'd have to use attacks, but just get up here, search for the key, and then you can get to the last section. So if you're to grab the key in this section, it will actually replace the key that you're holding, and it will unlock that door, and you have essentially soft lock yourself in this section. So go ahead and go into this area and fight the waves.
This temple looks like it's being used as a temporary storage facility for Grim. All things.
Alright, so once again, just fight the waves as you normally do, as it were no skips. And your damage output, if you have super quick, it's not going to be the same as mine, because super quick was really broken in the older patches. So you know, there's that for you. And while I'm at it, I'll put on Survivor, because there isn't really any other place that you death abuse to a any sort of significant Grim. And actually there is in chapter 8, however that one is a bit more scary because of the enemies that are there, but it's worth it, honestly. So just so we're on the last wave right now. You know, it's gonna vary between what Grim you get from here and the tutorial. So essentially what you do is you defeat the last few enemies. As soon as the last enemy is defeated, then you are able to leave, and you don't actually have to go through the big tunnel section towards the boat, because the level considers you completed after that low section. So that's a lot of time save. So defeat the enemy, leave, and look, there's chapter 7 for you, the island of Dr. Merlot. So we'll go back to current version of me. I will be back at the end and have some really important stuff to tell you. Alright, so I might have lied a little bit. This is actually chapter 7, because that one is a two-parter, and I thought since I'm in the pre-patch, I might as well show the backup strat, just in case. It's pretty much the same on current version, but you don't need to worry about that. So in any percent, you guys might know that you just come over here, Aftershock, and then come over to another barrier or rock that formed, and then it'll push you out of bounds, go around and go towards the end level. Can't do that. You are out of bounds, not valid for inbounds. So you just gotta continue on and just fight all the enemies. Alright. So next, so this section right here is going to be a little bit difficult. You can wait until the enemy, or you can defeat the enemies if you want to, because this one can be a bit difficult. And I got probably one of the worst ones to get while trying to show this trick. So essentially what you want to do is you want to get onto that rock. There's going to be an invisible barrier that you can stand on, and you just attack and then jump over the door. On this one, if you're wise, you can literally just walk through right here. So I can show you how it's done right here. So just attack, get onto the platform, and then just jump right over. I can show how you do it with the wise, because it's pretty simple, pretty easy to do. I'm already fairly close to it, so why not? Alright, so I had to actually restart it, because where I died, it actually loaded the next checkpoint. So, essentially with wise, all you have to do is just walk right through. That's literally how simple it is. There's nothing else that you have to do. You can just walk right through, or do whatever you want. It's really simple. So there's that. So let us continue with the run. Alright, so finally back as Yang. Let's see what's next. So for this section, you just kind of have to fight your way through the waves. There is a skip that you can do right here. However, it's more of a old any percent skip that you can do, because it is not valid. Who would have thought? Because you are out of bounds. But essentially all you have to do is get up onto the crate. I can't really do that right now because of the enemies. And then get on top of there, go through the little hole, and then make your way towards the end of the level. But you can't do that because this is any percent. Or not any percent, this is inbounds. Alright, so now that that's done, I got a Discord notification, so sorry about that. So yeah, let's keep moving. I don't know why I blew those up. You know, I didn't have to, but you know, I did. Alright, so this way, so for this one, you just do the same thing. Just fight through the waves. And, just do your best. Alright, so for this one, this section is actually kind of interesting. So you think that you could just activate the barrier, go there, death abuse, then come back this way and do the checkpoint skip. However, that does not work. I tried this a long time ago with a previous runner. You might know her, you might not. Her name is Very Sydney. And we tried to come up with a way to get this checkpoint skip to work. Never happened. Kind of depressing. So this one is very important. Need to really pay attention to it. But we will see you in chapter 8. Alright, so we are in the last section of the game. And this part is actually very important for the run, because if you were to leave too early before Merlot talks, then the run is considered invalid, because in previous versions of the game, you can't really test it out now, honestly, because if you're to try and do a run on the current patch, you can't really see it because all the levels are already unlocked, unless you're to reset everything. But you don't want to leave right away, because that will invalidate the run.
Or shall I call you ours, like old times, John?
So it's really weird. I don't know why it is, but this is the only level where if you leave too early, then your run is invalidated. You have to wait until Merlot talks. I don't know why, but that's how the game is programmed. Very Sydney can tell you about it, and I can tell you about it. There might even be any previous runners, like the old school pre-Juniper update. They can tell you about the pain and struggle of accidentally leaving too early. So I cannot stress enough to not leave right away. So there's that. So we're approaching the last wave right now, and you'll see that as soon as I beat the last enemy, I'm not going to leave right away. I am actually going to wait until Merlot speaks. So right there is when Merlot speaks, and as you see, I am now able to move on to the next level. So let's go ahead and go back to the current patch, and I will see you guys in the next level. Alright, here we are, chapter 8. It's really important that you make sure that you leave as soon as Merlot starts talking, because as you might know, the game does not like it when you leave, when you defeat the last enemy. If you do it correctly, it can be frame perfect, and you can leave as soon as the first frame of Merlot talking starts. However, sometimes you can be a little bit too excited per se and leave too early, and that's not good. That invalidates your run. I got stuck in that. That's depressing. Alright, so there's really much interesting stuff that happens in this one, unless we get that way open. And let's see if we can or not. Alright, so it looks like that was it. And we got the bad way open. That's depressing. Alright, so I will be back in a moment. Because this way, all you have to do is just defeat the enemies, open up the valve, and then go down. However, we don't want that. So I will be back in just the moment. Because that way is boring. Hey, about time. Alright, so this way is really nice for inbounds because this one is really nice because what you can do is you can get onto the valve, then get onto the little ring on there, get on top of the pipe, and then go over the steam like so, or you can just get onto the ring right away. But if you're me and mess up, then oh no. Here, let's try again. I doubt, yeah, I was about to say I doubt we could get it because of the enemies, so this is going to be a bit more difficult. So let's try and get those ones out the way at least. So get onto the pipe. Alright. Well then, let's try this way. This way is a little bit easier as long as you don't mess it up. I think because the bad wolves were there, it messed up. Or I messed up. So, I was a little too far away on that one. Yeah. So, bad wolves are messing me up. So that's depressing. There. They're a bit further away, so I could do it easier because the auto-targeting in this game is really awful. So, all you have to do now is just jump on top here. You want to be really careful to not accidentally fall off. I've fallen off many times. Right over here, you want to make sure that you just either attack to get a little bit of extra height instead of just jumping. I like to do it for safety because it's sometimes deceivingly high. At least for me, it feels like it's whatever height it wants to be sometimes. So we can go ahead and do that. And then for this section, I'm actually going to show it on this patch because there's actually something really interesting that I found out in the next level. And I accidentally hit my mic. So first thing that you want to do, as all the other ones, is you want to death abuse. That's the first step on getting this completed. Is you want to do a death abuse as, you know, some of the other ones. Like, I think really the only death abuse that I can think of is Chapter 1 and Chapter 5. So, you want to do a death abuse, come down over here. And then just fight your way through the waves. And I will see you towards the end of the waves because you're just fighting enemies. There's no point in showing this. Alright, so here we are on last wave. This one's actually kind of nice. So we're going to take out the white android first. because he can be a pain. You can actually deal with the red android pretty easily. And I'm going to do that right now, actually. So, I'm going to take care of the white android. And then you want to be kind of close to the bridge over here. You can manipulate the AI a little bit on the white android if it's the only one there, because if there's two, then you can't really manipulate it. There might be a way to get on top of the one over there. However, I don't know how to do that. Kind of sad, really. So, what you want to do is you want to get them pretty low, and then, or you know, if you're good, unlike me, then you can just jump all the way over, and then you can actually backtrack on this one, and then, you know, go towards the steam, and then it will actually checkpoint skip you into the next area, or at least going down the elevator towards the vats. And then see, we're down by the elevator towards the vats. And one thing that I actually didn't know is that there's two different checkpoint skips. The other one that's a lot more difficult to get over, and probably next to impossible to do it with Yang or any character, probably, is that you actually get teleported towards the last area, if I remember correctly. However, this one is also interesting because I found this out my first attempt doing this. So if you're to come over here, and if you can do this correctly, which I did not, this might take me a couple attempts, to be honest, because this is something recently I found out, which was pretty neat in my opinion. So probably going to take me a few attempts to get it down, because I'm not that well versed in the Afterquake lingo. So just give me a few tries and I will get it. Alright, so we are now on the other side of this, and what I found out, which is pretty interesting, is that you know, the elevator, it's not active, and so you can't really do anything. However, what you can do is you can actually death abuse in this area right over here, and because a lot of the vats are not destroyed, there are still a lot of Grim that just continuously spawn. So that's really nice, and if you can do it correctly and consistently, then you can skip that entire sequence, destroy those vats, and look, we're in the next area right over here. We just skipped an entire section, so that's really nice. You can probably skip this door as well. Let's actually try it. It's probably not that worth it, to be honest, because the waves aren't usually that difficult, but you know what? All the more power to you if you are able to do it, at least consistently. But I can't do it consistently, so if you can do it consistently, like I said, more power to you. And then next skip is just getting over the steam. This one is a really old one, really common. Just get up over there. Don't do what I did, and easy peasy, you are over. And then this next one, just fight through the waves, and then I can show you. Alright, so this is the last section of the this level right here. So essentially what you want to do is just defeat all the enemies. The progress bar is based on the enemies you defeat. It's essentially defeating waves with a bar at the top. It's literally nothing different from any of the other stuff that we've been doing. It's just that this time there's a little HUD overlay for a progress bar, which is just based off of how many kills you get and not time. So, there's that.
Would you rip them apart already?
And like I said, your fights are not going to be nearly as fast as mine, primarily because super quick is broken in this version. So, this is most likely the last enemy. And as soon as we defeat said enemy, oh, we have one more. Okay. But as soon as we defeat the enemy, we can leave the level. As so. And now we have chapter 10. So, this is the last chapter. There isn't really much to go over. So, we will have my future self do the talking, and I will meet you guys at the end of this level. Alright, so I probably should have said that I'm going to let my older patch version self, talk about this. Or talk about, leaving early. But you know what? It's going to be a weird edit. So sorry about that. So for this next one, I haven't got this one down consistently. You certainly can do it. However, this one is very risky, very difficult to do as well. There's this section over here. I've been trying to work on this one for quite a while. This one I can kind of get, but it's not really worth it, to be honest, because there's so few enemies, but and they're pretty easy to deal with. So I didn't get it. So that's oh well. But you are able to clip through there. If it's just 2 red androids, not really worth it to try and clip through there. If it's the white androids and the mutated creeps, it might be a little bit more worth it. However, I still don't see the value in it, honestly. There isn't much for me to argue that it is a good option. And of course, you probably know that there is a way to get up onto the ceiling and just get all the way through and go towards the end. That is not allowed. This is still inbounds. So this one is actually, I discovered this one on accident. This one's really difficult to pull off. I will allow it for inbounds, but I will put a clip of me doing this. But a lot of the times, what ends up happening is that when you clip through, you will end up in the elevator, and there's not really much that you can do after that. But if you're able to clip through, clip the elevator, so Yang touches the elevator at least, or whatever character that you play that is able to clip through stuff. As far as I know, it's only Yang. But if you're able to clip through it, touch the elevator, and then fall out of bounds, it will actually move you down towards the next area. If you are able to do that consistently, that is allowed for inbounds. So I'll insert the clip of me accidentally doing it, but if you are able to do it consistently, like I said, I'm probably using that word too much, but if you're able to do that consistently, then go ahead and go for it. So I'll just attempt to do it. This one is extremely difficult, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, well, I tried this trick for like an hour straight, and you know, I haven't been able to get it that one time I did do it. I think I was a little too close that time. There's a way that I can tell from the tiles. I usually go from about, I believe it's this tile right here towards the end. But, you know. Alright, so right here is a prime example of you getting clipped or stuck into the elevator. There's no enemies that you can defeat to get out of there, so essentially your run is more or less dead at that point. Easiest option, honestly, is to just take out the nodes and just continue that way, because it's very risky, but I guess you can save a little bit of time, but that's only if it's for, I don't know, world record pace or something, or your run is absolutely dead. Alright, so after reviewing how I accidentally did it, let's see if I can get it this time. Alright, so far so good.
Let's break it.
Alright, so right there, I should be in the next area right now. Yep. Alright, so I'll briefly go over what happened. I'll also use the previous clips that were already recorded, but essentially what was happening was that I was a little bit too far to the right, or no, my bad, I was a little bit too far to the left, and I'm going based on the tile location. And if you're to view where I was when I kept going inside the elevator compared to when I actually got the clip, I was one row too far to the left. So the reason why that this one is allowed compared to the other ones is because, sure, you are out of bounds. However, you are falling to your death. There is nothing that you can do about it. And that's really about it. So let's go on to the next section.
You're alive. Quick, escape through the vent.
So all you have to do for this section is just take out the vats. I'm surprised I did not die there. Alright, so next all we have to do is just defeat the enemies. Androids are not that difficult, so I'll go ahead and at least the red androids, they're not that difficult. Alright, so this next area, I'm gonna let my version of the pre-patch talk, and I will explain something that is very critical to the run, and I will see you guys in the other version, because current version me is currently done, and I will see you guys, I don't know, I'll see you in the other patch. All right, so this is the last portion of the game. I cannot speak anymore, but this is something that is extremely important because if we were to use Aftershock to go through the door, we will trigger the ending sequence. However, we will not trigger the credits because Inbounds is a variation of no skips. You must complete the final boss fight against the mutated Scorpion. I forget its name. Mutated Deathstalker. That's what it was. You must beat the mutated Deathstalker in order to validate the run. Because yes, you can go through here. Yes, you can trigger the ending cutscene. However, because that this is a inbounds run and not any percent, this is considered invalid and you will not be able to complete your run this way. So if the ending credits do not start, then the run is never finished. However, there is something that you can do that will trigger the ending credits, and that is defeating the final boss. So as soon as you beat the final boss, you can clip yourself through the door in order to validate the run. It saves a little bit of time. However, you will have to be very cautious on how much ultimate that you use, because you will only have 2 bars. And as you see, the ending credits did not happen, so therefore the run is not valid. So you will have to, I know that people are not going to like this, but you are going to have to complete the waves, complete the boss fight in order to validate the run.
Didn't go according to plan? Let's make this more interesting.
So this part just played out as it normally does.
A little more effort, maybe? This is my most potent batch of syrup.
These are the ones that I hate the most because they can be really annoying. You want to deal with the white androids first because this guy isn't too difficult, and if you do not deal with this guy first, then he'll just keep hunting you down.
Beginning to think I've made a huge mistake.
Or if you well, I don't know, it's kind of a feeling kind of thing for me, honestly. All right, so
It's come to this.
now we have the final boss.
That is one serious stinger.
Don't be shy, students. You could learn a lot from this in-hand specimen. They won't teach you a thing about this back in here. Stings a little, doesn't it? Nature wouldn't make a beast this deadly. So
What? I somehow died to the boss. I don't know how, but I did. So, yeah. Let's try that again.
Whoa. That is.
Alright, so just beat the boss.
Low.
No! My one-of-a-kind specimen! This is inconceivable.
It's all over.
Alright, so right now we triggered the ending cutscene because As soon as we beat the boss, we are able to leave because the ending credits is the ending credits is triggered by beating the final boss. So when you're able to clip like that, then you're all right. The only problem is with that method is that you are going to have to watch out for your ultimate because if you don't have enough ultimate, because it requires two, you'd have to either save it up or damage yourself in order to keep the ultimate. And if you were to store it, then there's a lot of damage that you're missing out. And if you're to use Yang's ability to get ultimate back, then that's the easy way to do it. However, you want to make sure that you're not getting damaged all the time. And if you were to not use that method, which is completely fine, you can use Super Quick. And I believe Super Quick does more damage than Aftershock. And you could argue, would you rather have a faster exit or a faster boss fight? In my opinion, I would have a faster boss fight than a faster exit, but that's me. I think each of them have their advantages and disadvantages, but I think with the Aftershock method, you would have to be more cautious. So other than that, that's essentially Inbound. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll answer them. I'll try to clear them up. If you have any ways to get out of the map and move to the next area, let me know. I will test it out myself and see if that is viable or not. Because remember, like I said, if you're able to get out of bounds, but you aren't able to move anywhere else, then that's okay. Such as Chapter 1, getting over the second area for the fight, and in Chapter, I think it was 9. It was either 8 or 9. No, it was 9. Yeah, in Chapter 9, were the elevator skip. So either one of those. Those two are really good examples. But other than that, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys hopefully on the leaderboards. I don't know, but thank you guys once again, and hopefully this clears some stuff up about Inbounds.